Yeah.
At the time, we're like, oh yeah, of course, because I want to be, I want you to recommend me, and I'll do anything. But now I'm like, oh well, I've just lost money, and the lads are all tired, and it's getting dark.
Welcome everybody to another Outside Crowd podcast, and delighted to be here with Billy.
Hello.
Been missing you for the last couple of weeks.
Well, I was here last week.
Good to have you. Oh,
You
you
were.
were. Oh, I've been found out. And delighted to be here with Ryan.
Yo!
And delighted to have with us another tree surgeon as our guest today. And we're delighted to have Ivan Carson from Penshurst Tree Surveys.
Hello guys, thanks for having us on.
Great, delighted to have you here, Ivan. It's nice to have another guest, so we'll be running through a few things. So let's start at the beginning.
Which one?
Tell us a little bit about yourself,
I knew
how
you
you
were
got
gonna
into into tree surgery,
I knew you
your
were gonna start
background.
Oh, well, first of all, guys, thanks very much for having me, and it's a privilege and an honour to be here. So I hope I can say something that's of value or of entertainment for your listeners. But how did I get into tree surgery? I'm a South East London boy. I was born in Plumstead, mid-60s, and I went to university. I did a teaching degree. So I started out teaching, qualified as a PE teacher, taught sport for a few years. And a mate of mine said, he was a greengrocer in Lewisham actually, and he said, I've just bought a tree surgery business. And he said, do you fancy it? And I was sort of thinking, I don't know. He said, but don't worry about it because it takes a couple of years to get qualified. You can put your name on the list, you can enrol, have a think about it, see how it goes, and take it from there. So I said, okay, I'll phone up and get my name on the list and have a think about it. And I phoned Jack Kenyon at Meristwood, Guildford University, Guildford College, whatever it is. And I phoned up and said, oh, hi there, I'm thinking of enrolling on the course for tree surgery for craftsmen, blah, 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 City and Guilds, whatever it was. And this was a Friday. He said, someone dropped out 10 minutes ago. We've got a spot on Monday. So I was qualified before the bod that had invited me to join his business. So I went on the course there and then. It was fortuitous. I was on the summer holiday from my teaching, and I went through the course and was qualified and then started. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was a fairly quick process. The thing that made me smile, he said you've had a mate who bought a tree surgery company. That doesn't all happen.
He did. Yeah, this is going back more than 20 years.
Did he do tree surgery before as well? Or did
No.
he just, oh, right.
No, he was a fruit and veg salesman, probably getting...
See, anyone could do your job.
Yeah, and he bought it. And
When did you qualify, right?
Oh, lad.
still
Man of many talents. 2000, mate, long time ago.
No.
And so from there, and you guys, we're all from this area. It's so tree lined and leafy and all the rest of it. It didn't take long to do a leaflet drop and to get 3, 4, 5 inquiries.
Yeah.
And from there, it was like, wow. But when I used to drive out in the morning, you used to have maybe less than half a dozen trucks going out in the morning. And now, I think I passed half a dozen before I even get out of get 10 minutes away.
So when you started then with that company, what actually was there by the company? Was there anything like a few, did you have a few clients, or did you then literally just have to grow it from nothing?
I grew
buy
it from
the equipment?
nothing. I grew it from nothing.
Yeah.
And then he bought the business with a client base.
Right.
And
When you say client base, was it commercial stuff, or was it just customers that they worked for before?
I think it was private.
Okay.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it was all private. Although we did go on to do commercial stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't start actually doing any work with him for quite a few months because I was saying, look, I've got a few jobs. Come on, get your qualification, get going. Like, the work's coming in.
Yeah.
We were only young men, and sort of having a go at it, really.
Yeah.
And how did you get your work then? Was it literally just the old ways of advertising and mail shots and
It was
leaflets?
Yeah, old school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally down the printer, little cards, $9.99 for 100, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Little plastic box, and then I put a little flyer. If you want any free quotes, give us a shout, and that seemed to work, especially in this area.
Was it all around this area?
Yeah, Penshurst, Sevenoaks, Tunbridge, Tunbridge Wells.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Oh, fair play.
Did you have to invest a lot of money in getting things like kit for trucks and stuff like that as well? Or
Not massively. I think in the world of how much does it take to start up a business, tree surgery probably falls into you can get going relatively cheaply. That doesn't mean it's cheap. It means it's relatively cheap.
Yeah.
So you've got, I did a couple of grand on a van, and I'm embarrassed to say, sorry if you guys have got these things, the old tipper transit tipper white van.
Yeah,
so that was like,
we have them.
But I got one of those transit tipper. I got a couple of saws.
They come with the van.
Ropes, but yeah, they came with the van. The guy said, "Don't ask any questions."
A boot sale.
but they were still warm. But when you did your qualifications, in order to get your ticket, you had to go to what was then Honey Brothers over.
I know Honey
you
Brothers,
probably know the big
yeah.
outfit, and you had to get all your kit before you'd be sort of certified. Yes, you've got all your PPE, you've got all your stuff. Off you go. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Crikey. So was it? So when you sort of I was quite interested about going back and how you started. Has it changed a lot in terms of what you do, how you approach the works compared to how it is now? How does it?
It's a yes and a no. It's a yes and a no, because it hasn't changed my modus operandi. But then I'm coming off the back of 20 years of fairly, what I would hope to call fairly good service, good. You know, I like to. My saying is keep the phone ringing.
Yeah.
You know, I like to keep the phone ringing, so I won't. You know, I've worked with some bods, and you will have done as well, and you're thinking, oh man, you know, you've got stuff all over the place. This is not ordered. It looks like you don't know what you're doing. You're one of you's up the ladder flicking a fag before you make the next cut, and you're thinking, oh, it just looks bad. I've probably got OCD actually, so I clear my way in, nice and neat, keep the phone ringing.
Yeah.
So, but what has changed is that you and I did have a go at this, and I don't know whether I recommend it or not. Maybe I don't know enough to say, but I did do that thing where you pay money into an account with Google, and it fires you up the.
Oh yeah, you do the paid ads.
I had a go at that. And just if it's probably indecorous to talk about money on the phone, but I put in a few quid, you know, nearly four figures. 800-900 quid, or whatever it was, and it had gone within. I mean, it seemed to go like that.
Oh, you don't want to talk to Google as this man? I'll tell you that.
And I did get some inquiries. To be fair, and I think I might have got one job that might have covered it, but I thought, no, thank you.
But it's one of those things, isn't it? Google. Isn't
Well,
it?
yeah,
You've got to invest money. And
Did you do that then?
Yeah, well, I do it now.
Oh right.
And it's like 50% of our inquiries come through it.
Oh, that's significant.
Yeah, and it's a lot of money, but you have to have someone who knows what they're doing to manage it.
Furnish it.
I did it at the start, where I sort of just did it myself,
that's
like years ago, and I got nothing out of it really.
Yeah, that's me.
But then I had a management company, one that was really bad, and then another one that was who I work with now, and it works. It does work, but it costs a lot of money.
Well, I guess the difference
and it takes time to get there as well, because there's that trial period where they're learning how your campaign works, whatever. So at the start you're like, I'm spending all this money, I'm not getting anything out of it. But once you do, I mean, it does. We get a lot of inquiries out of it. So
maybe there was a bit of naivety on my part, and I thought that I'd throw the money in the pot and by
Yeah,
some
no
magic
one knows
wand
about
I'd
it,
have a
do
load
they?
of jobs, but it didn't work. Maybe I did it wrong. But somebody said to me, or I do remember someone saying, look, buy the keywords. You need tree, stump, hedge, climb. So I bought all these words, and that was my pot gone.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm just back to my old school, and I'm blessed to be able to say that people still call. I've worked for some people for 15, 20 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many people? Is it just you on your own? Do you have other people working with you?
So I'm small, and I've always been small. I've got a couple of bods that have been with me, and it's hard to get staff, isn't it? Reliable staff, rain and winter and all the rest of it. And so I've got a couple of bods, but I could, if someone said, look, we've got a job, you know, can you help? And then I'd get on the phone and probably phone guys like yourselves. So do you fancy we've got a week, five oaks on a train line, we've got to go to work pretty pronto, it's good money, let's go. Check our insurances and get on with it.
Do you climb then? Or?
Yeah.
Are you like the lead climber?
Yeah.
That's
because of my OCD though, I think.
Yeah.
So I do climb, and my guys do climb, and I would
He's
say
fit as a flea, look. Fit as a flea.
Yeah.
He's as fit as a flea. What's your age? Come on, what's your age?
next time round, I've got a big one. I'm starting to get in that category of big, so 6-0.
So you have no excuse,
6-0.
lad. If I hear you could
But
climb
I
a
need
tree,
to work. If you don't need to climb trees to earn, I would say
It's very rare to hear of a climber. It's even over age of 40, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because our oldest climber is 43.
right.
And he's considered old, I would say. But he's in great nick, but he really looks after himself. You know?
Yeah.
And I think you have to, don't you?
Well, I don't think you've got a choice in the matter, have you?
No, but you must know a lot of climbers who are sort of fagging out the mouth, 3 Red Bulls before 11 o'clock, eating all day breakfast salads, and they just burn out at 35 or whatever because their back's gone.
Exactly that.
That happens a lot.
Exactly that.
You have to take it really seriously.
I take my hat off to you.
Yeah,
But does that tie in with your other career? You're saying you worked as a PE teacher.
Yeah.
So you've obviously had that fitness
yeah.
background and enthusiasm for that. So do you still train and work out and
I jog.
yeah.
I jog with a dog sometimes. I mean, if you saw me, you say that's not a jog. That's
That's a sprint.
That's a slow walk. But I have a little jog. I play football semi-regularly with some old PE staff on a Monday night and have a knock around. Nothing major. I'm not a gym membership guy, or I've got to. I'm doing a 10K next Monday.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those.
Do you eat well?
Quite well. Yeah, quite well. I'm not fanatical. No. Tomorrow morning, for example, I will be having a fry up.
Oh, come on. You got
Because it's just got to that point in the week. Just got to have it.
Yeah, nice, very nice.
So have you enjoyed that side, like running the business side of things, or is it one of those you think that's a bit of a pain in the backside? I actually prefer doing the work and getting in the in nature, in the trees. Where's your preference like?
Yeah. Well, preference is clear cut, getting out in the world. But it just happens to be a necessary evil for just getting at home, emails, printer, send off, address, what was it? Does it need a permission from the tree officer, fill out the forms, or what was, I do find that a fag.
Yeah. Did you have a goal? So when the company started, did you have goals for taking it forward, or is it more, I just enjoy doing this, working like from day to day, month to month, as long as I'm getting enough work in, I'm happy? Or do you think I want career, world dodomination in terms of a tree surgery company?
I think that's a thought that comes and goes, but generally speaking, I rolled along, and all the while the work was there. I mean, there was a period of time when I needed work. I've got daughters, I've got a wife, I've got a mortgage. And I'd be crying in my porridge in the morning, thinking, oh no, you haven't worked for a week because the phone hasn't rang, and you stare at the phone, it doesn't ring, and the moment you go, oh, do you know what? Leave it to the lap of the, you walk away, the phone rings. When you start to, maybe this is a life thing, I don't know, but when you start to really, get struggling and thinking, oh, come on, it doesn't happen. And the moment you
let go,
the moment you just go, oh, do you know what?
What's worry of a cure?
It's sort of, and the phone would ring. So I've bumbled along. But then, I've bumbled along for more than 20 years.
Yeah. But there's something, But I always think you're probably being very modest there and saying a lot of small companies don't last for very long, maybe a few years. And you kept it going for, you're saying bumbling along for 20 years. Yeah. I think you have to done a lot more than just bumble along to keep it going. You. So, because I was going to ask then, how, if you look at that period, what were the highlights and what were the low spots?
Now we're talking.
Yes, so immediately, when I first went into tree surgery, you would meet another tree surgeon, and you're straight away into the old film Jaws. Show me your scar, tell me your story. And you'd be trading off stories, and they would always escalate into nightmarish scenarios, of which we've probably all got a tale to tell. I've come across a couple of things, and I've heard all the stories, and way back when I had a phone, you know, that would go ping and you go, oh man, no. Someone would send you, did you see what happened to so-and-so? You think, no, don't send me this stuff, please, please. You had the rise of the television programme, the heli-loggers and those guys in America that would be thumping down redwoods. And that, I know they're doing it for the camera, but I mean, it's seriously dangerous work. Throwing down a 50-ton Sequoia and it landed on the crane going over the edge and all the rest of it. And that seemed to sort of put it on the map a little bit. But highlights, doing a good job, climbing and feeling fit, keeping the phone ringing, and low lights, you know, deep winter, you pick up the ropes, they don't move, they're frozen in their setting. You want to cry before you begin. You're looking at the job, you've priced it all wrong, you think it's going to be a day. It's not. It turns into a nightmare. The customer's a nightmare as well, and that sort of thing. And then obviously the dangerous stuff, the stuff you lose sleep over. Yeah, I think you've probably got some neurons missing if you don't look at a job and you think, that's on my limit, whatever it is for your limit, and it comes in, and then it's time. Okay, it's time to do it. Yeah, get the ropes on and get going.
Yeah. How have you? Because you've probably been through a few recessions and those sort of periods, lean periods. Did you find they affected you at all over those periods? You know, in terms of the company and trading and getting work, and how did you find your way through them? Or did you sort of sail through relatively, unscathed? Recessions
definitely hit, definitely do, and especially I think in the southeast England area, because I think because we. If this is fair to say, this is only my opinion. If it's fair to say that we do have a fairly good percentage of, say, your banking community, your accountants, your guys that have done well materially. If there's a recession, I think there is a general feeling that the husbands are saying, right, no more buying dress. You know, there's a cutbacky. You can sense it. You can sense it through the papers, the headlines in the papers. You can just sense it. And there's a bit of there is an effect. How I was fortunate to have a bit of a teaching income. It's not massive money teaching, as any teacher will know listening. So I had a bit of that would bolster things. And that would also be good for the things where you lose for winds, rain, snow, so it was a pure case of no cleverness on my part. Just having that secondary stream of income with the teaching, so that when the recession was there, you'd notice when you do your tax returns at the end of the year, and because I do by month, it's got January's, February's, blah blah blah, and you can see where they are. You can see where there's the phone was off the hook, and then you can see when it wasn't ringing. And you can marry that somewhat to what's happening in the wider world. I think.
No, I agree with you. You can sort of sense where, especially where the economy's going, and more sort of confidence amongst people in an area, isn't there?
Definitely.
And I suppose there's also a bit. We're in quite an affluent area, aren't we?
Yeah.
And there's always some money, and I know certain people are going to make certain cutbacks at times when things get tight. But I suppose at some point, if a tree needs to be taken down or certain things need to be done, it needs to be done, doesn't it?
Yeah, it needs to be done.
Yeah, crikey.
Yeah.
Do you find that things like the bureaucracy in running a company has got worse, and things like the amount of health and safety that you have to go through, or do you think that is in for the for the benefit of the industry and it's a good thing?
Another brilliant question. Actually. Thanks. You're really putting me to the test here. I think you're right. And I don't think it's a tree surgery thing. I think it's a world thing. And I can speak a little bit with my teacher hat on, because I've been in teaching 30 years. And over the course of those 3 decades, you will see the increase in compulsory requirements to be so-and-so compliant, so-and-so knowledgeable in this area, so-and-so knowledgeable in that area. And if you haven't done it, now you've got to do these online tests. And if you haven't got the online test and you've not sent it off to whoever it's got to go to, you're getting an email, what are you doing? This is compulsory. And so I think that's crept into the world, a world of compliance, if you like. I think it's a good and a bad thing. I've been blessed to be, I was a teacher, and, if I put together a quote, I'll try and cater for what I think the customer will be thinking. you know, guys, yourself, you can turn up at a tree job and the person will be saying, they're just waving their arm like this. They're just waving their arm and expecting you to understand what that means. And you're trying to say, so you mean by that you want that. And it's not a very clear conversation. And it's not a problem. It's just that some people are good with their words, some people aren't. It's not a problem. But you have to discern what it is that they want and then communicate that. I'm blessed to be able to.
I was going to say, I imagine you're pretty good at that.
I try to cater for everything. I try to cater for everything so that it just, and you learn the hard way, because in the beginning you'll say, a quote for this, and someone will say, that's not what we agreed. That's not what that's not what that meant for me. Because I waved my arm in the air, and you do get people like that.
It's also things like, if I'm quoting now, someone will say, we want, let's say for a crown reduction, we want it for this reason.
Yes.
Like, quite, if you get a nice customer, quite often it'll be, we just want it to be suitable for the size of where it is or whatever. Some people want it to get more light in or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll be like, can you take a third off? And they'll be like, I want a third. And I said, well, I can do an estimation, but in my quote. But if I get up there and there's not a growth point there, we're not doing it there.
Yeah.
It needs to be, because some people don't understand that if you just cut something at a random point, you're going to get a load of epiformic growth and regrowth, and it's going to, in the long run, and trying to explain this to people and factor that into a quote. And I'm now, back in the day, I would have just said anything just to win a job.
Sure.
I would have just been like, we'll do that, and then you come away and you're like, you're not happy with, with what you've done, and then you come back in a few years later and you're like, God, it looks shit. But at the time, they're happy.
Yeah.
Because you've chopped it in a third. But now I'm very much like, it's going to be 10 to 20% to a strong secondary growth point, and if I can find one in there, it'll be that, or it'll be this one, or if it's low or whatever, and promise you'll be happy with that, and it will last longer than if I just chop a third off of it.
Yeah.
Then you can win their confidence, can't you?
Yeah.
It's a BS3 998.
998.
Yeah, 998. Come back to those growth points, do it right, and I agree with you. The other thing is that comes to mind as you speak is the this idea that you do a job, and let's say you put in a one-liner, a reduced tree, 700 quid, whatever it is, 500 quid, whatever, and you're taking the logs. You're thinking, I've got a load of good oak here, and the person says, can you log it all up for me, please? And then on top of that, they say, can you put it down the shack?
Yeah.
Which is 400, it's a wheelbarrow, 2 hours. You just don't realise that you've just put 2 hours and another chain and so that sort of thing. And that's part and parcel of sort of trying to be
really
pedantic
precise
with my words, just to make sure
If
the
you'd
customer
like-
knows everything that's going on.
Because
And then you put that's right, Ryan. If you want it logged, just
if you want it, we'll do it. But
that's absolutely fine. Might add half an hour now.
do whatever you like. If you want to cut, if you want a moustache, I'll make a gnome out of them.
I'll itemise it out for you. I'll itemise it out for you so you can see exactly how much extra it's going to
So I
cost.
split that log into 6, right? And
but back in the day, I would have just said, do you want to keep the logs or whatever? And I would have just got on with it. But now I'm like, when I'm doing the quote, at the point of doing the quote, do you want to keep the logs? Where are they going? What's happening with this? And you outline it there and then.
You have to think of it.
And then it's written. And then there's no two ways about it. But so many times that's happened to me. That all of a sudden they want them split. And at that time I'm like, of course, because I want to be, I want you to recommend me. And I'll do anything. But now I'm like, I've just lost money. And the lads are all tired. And it's getting dark.
It's funny, that sort of stuff you only get through experience, don't you, of dealing with it. I mean, I sort of found that when you first start, your confidence in dealing with people is usually, quite low. You're not quite sure what all the answers are, and how you should respond in certain situations. But as you get better, you get more experience, then you find you have more confidence with people, don't you? And sometimes just being honest with people.
And that's what it is as well. It is the honesty, and it's under, like Bill said, it is. Where there's so many times where you go there and think, we'll do that. Of course we can. And you're like, so you just want to get recommended, and then you realise, what am I doing? What am I doing? And you don't get the last laugh, but you just want to do a good job. But and the thing is, what's really interesting is if from the beginning you went, if you'd like to keep the logs, it's going to cost you X amount per metre, whatever, wherever. If they're at the end of the garden, it costs this. If they're at the front, whatever. If you'd like it, click the option. They go, brilliant, and they just click it. You know what I mean?
And it's having that confidence to say that.
Yeah, and then normally it's like, it's absolutely fine. Honestly, it's fine. I think that's what it is. We're all kicking ourselves and they're going, that's really
because
nice.
in some cases, I always try to explain to people, for us to cut and split this entire stem, the cost of that is going to be more than if you just got some seasoned logs delivered.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
because
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, we've got 6 guys there splitting, cutting, just carrying, moving, stacking. Because I've done that for people before.
Yeah, I have.
Because some people are like, money's not
they're the worst.
no object.
Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
They'll be like, I want that cut and split over there. And we'll be like, yeah, no problem, we'll do that. I'll be like, it's X amount. They're happy for us. 6 men to stand there, split them, stack them.
Yeah.
I've got one guy just stacking. It's like, you could have just had a load, and it would have saved you thousands of pounds, but they're just happy to have it done.
Yeah, I'd like my analogs to be fair.
But they can't. But I suppose for some people, it's like, that was our tree.
Yes,
I kind of want to reuse it.
That is exactly
which
what
I get.
Yeah,
I get that. But you have to pay for the privilege.
It's going to say exactly. Yeah. That's right.
Do you find because you're in education as well? Do you find that there's a lot of sort of careers advice, or your youngsters are actually still interested nowadays in going into things like tree surgery?
If you say to a young kiddie of today that they find out that you're a tree surgeon, perchance, and then that suddenly sparks a bit of interest, because it's something that I suppose is not in their normal everyday vocabulary. If I can do it like this, they're iPhone-y, COD, which I learned is Call of Duty.
Yes, that's it. You've got it.
COD down
you got it.
There's another one with cars. Is it Grand Theft?
GTA.
Anyway, GTA. That's right.
I got you,
letters
man.
that mean things for kids. But so when you say that you're a tree surgeon, they think, oh, that's interesting. I haven't really considered it. That you actually go up a tree with a chainsaw on ropes and do stuff. When I did my qualification, I was with a guy called Jack Kenyon, which is a name drop. He was, I think, well, his opening statement when we came in as a bunch of students was, "Hi, I'm Jack Kenyon. When I did tree surgery, it was 1950, and the best thing that you could get was Levi's red tag." Because Levi's red tag was a thicker denim than Levi's orange tag. So this guy had gone from that level of operation to becoming the chair of the I think I'm right in saying this. I don't want to say things that aren't true, but I think he was the chair of the HSE for arboriculture.
Oh wow!
So he'd gone from Levi's red tag to he was doing things like crash test dummy analysis. Rope things that that are right at the highest end of tree surgery.
Yeah.
So he'd seen the full whack. And something that really impressed me as a young student was he said, your reading list, one of your reading list, I'm so sorry that I can't remember the guy's name, serious tree guy. I think he might have been European, maybe Dutch. The Body Language of Trees by so-and-so.
Oh, Klaus Matak.
You've got it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No
That's
worries.
exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. And Jack said, well, I had to write to him, of course, because this chapter was... That's not right. Yeah, and I told him.
Well, he wrote to old Klaus, did he?
Yeah, he was telling Klaus where he was going wrong.
Oh wow!
So that's why I'm dropping the Jack Kenyon name.
That's cool.
Klaus Matak is the
OG
tree master. The Body Language of Trees, what an amazing book.
There you go. And but he said, maybe I'm coming to your question now. He said, look, there's 20 of you in the classroom. He said 10 of you won't be back tomorrow. Of the 10 that get through, 50% of you won't get through the climbing course, and of the half that come back after that, half of you won't go on to be able to run a business for whatever reason, and they're legitimate reasons.
Yeah,
you lose your bottle, you split up with your wife, you can't get enough money in, you can't run the business. With all the best will in the world, it just life gets at you, and so it's just that sort of there's 20 goes to 10, and so on and so on and so on, and that's what he said. With a lifetime of experience.
So when you got kicked out the first time, did you go to another course?
Yeah. Well, I do remember, as I'm sure you do, them saying, right, it's climbing day, and you're thinking, you're all excited, there's 20 of you, it's becomes a bit of a sort of a macho fest.
Yeah.
And they say, right, put this on, it's your harness, put this on, strap that to it, put that MS, whatever it is to you, get your spikes on, get the ropes, carry your fuel, get a bit, and then they go, right, go on, then off you go and climb. And I went, and I got about an inch off the ground. I got about an inch off the ground, and then I went for another and got another inch off the ground, and I thought, oh dear. And I was one of those ones that thought at that moment,
that's the end of me.
This is serious.
Get up early.
Yeah.
Has the sort of like techniques involved with tree surgery, have they changed much over the years, or is it very much a sort of consistent sort of
They've
approach?
changed massively, but unnecessarily.
Really?
Ooh.
They've
Here we
changed
go.
massively,
Here we go.
but unnecessarily.
Right.
Or is you still call them a prosec? Or
Do you clean the prostate? Yeah, my
I've
question.
done 20 years of tree surgery on about 4 or 5 different knots. A double-ended prosec system, bull rope maybe,
oh, you really?
zip lining. There's not an operation. This does sound a trumpet. Do forgive me. There's not an operation I haven't done with any combination of those things.
Really?
really.
Have you tried climbing on
seen
SRT?
I've seen them all. You look like Christmas trees going up there. It's all bells, whistles, bits and bobs.
Oh, the light you come on.
yeah.
Honestly, I'm just a
I don't climb with
rope
SRT.
and harness. Yeah. I'm not saying you do, but
He looks like it, though, doesn't he?
I tried it for the first time last week.
There's a new one in the
And I
van.
didn't like it.
Yeah.
It felt. Do you know what? Because it was. I had the chest to. Have you tried any of the gear on? So so
didn't have to.
Christian,
I
who
didn't.
I climbed with, he was like, "Oh, it's brilliant because you ascend so quickly." I tried it on and I was wobbling about, and then my chest was like this, and then. But it's much harder, so it's double the weight. Like you're not halving your weight like you would with a.
Yeah.
With
I
another
think
device.
it's gimmicky.
Do you use a zigzag? What do you use?
Yeah, DRT. I use a zigzag.
Right. Yeah. I know about
You use
those.
like cambium savers and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, you rope on bark, are you? Or-
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm old
Making
school.
it really hard. Yeah.
I'm old school, but I mean, I wouldn't rope on bark if say the diameter was, lots of friction around the back. But one thing I have learned is that I was ever so right side loaded when you pull and press it and pull and press it. So I alternate. I flip in the harness to left and then flip to right and flip to left and flip to right to balance the body.
What about things like? Do you use like redirects and stuff, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean naturals. I use a
Okay.
natural redirect. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because I've tried all that, and I think it's
that's-
it's tough.
Do
Yeah.
you still have to do that for your
So I learned on a prosec.
right
And double
yeah.
ends. That's
Yeah.
how I learned.
Double ends, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Using
I
both
can't
ends
look,
of
I look at a Blake's hitch and think that
No.
doesn't work. How can that possibly work? It
and
looks
then
like it's-
we moved to like they're like, so this is how you should learn, and then also like 3-knot systems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they start bringing in the
Yeah.
devices. But then when I came back to another course, a rigging course,
Yeah.
that's when they implemented double ropes. So
Right.
you had
Yeah,
to climb
yeah.
with 2 lines,
Yes.
and that gets really confusing. You've got the devices
Yeah.
smashing into each other, and that's
Yes.
an HSE silly thing that I don't think anyone gets on with. Anyone I ask says, "I wish I didn't have to do that."
Mate, I'm so old school. I do think it's a little bit gimmicky without disrespect for the guys
You're
that
not
are out
getting
there
it.
trying to make it a bit easier. But the fact of the matter is, you require a bit of physicality and a little bit of know-how in the brain, and a bit of safety and a bit of control.
Yeah.
And
After that,
there's your green light. Those other things, do they make it easier? Maybe they do, but easier by what? 4%? Of your, I mean, are you still are you bouncing home at the end of the day, or are you walking with like a
Yeah. Well, to be honest, like if I look at other people's setups, we're considered quite old school in the things that we use,
Really?
but we're not prosec and
right?
But like, I mean, I see lots of companies with all the bells and whistles and new stuff, and we don't really.
Yeah.
It's still zigzags and that's
Yeah.
it really. I mean, SRT is coming in more, and I've heard it's very easy on the body. Like I
Right.
think that's what the feedback that I get is everyone's just trying to ease the stress on their body.
Yes.
But then you're testament to
Yeah.
You're
I was doing the left
I was
knee,
gonna
right.
say,
you're a
but-
testament to it not.
Yeah.
But I wonder what that is. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
genetics or you've looked after yourself elsewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's an interesting point, because you wonder a lot of it must also just come into generally looking after yourself as well and keeping in good condition.
I'd always say having something like a lifting belt and stuff like that is sure there is places for it, but for me I would never use a lifting belt when I'm deadlifting, because you're then loading up against something which in turn your form is not doing 100%. So if you're deadlifting and you've got a belt on you, it's like
You're always deadlifting as well, too.
there's right, yeah, sure. So you want to throw a kettlebell around, bro? You anytime, anywhere, you name the place, brother. You do a snatch with a 24, let's go, 100%. So for me, it's using free weights rather than machines. So I'm looking at that when you said it's up against your chest. It's like then you're leaning against it. You're that could be, for me, it's if you use a machine, you're using a machine in the gym because you've injured yourself. That for me is why you'd use a machine in the gym. If not, you use free weights because everything you've set yourself up against. So that's what I'm saying about that belt. You're loading everything up against that. And if you don't have that when you're out in the real world, because you don't exactly put a belt on every time you go to lift something in the job, you're not in the correct form. So I wonder, it'd be interesting to see. Yes, when you say it's easier on the body, does it take into consideration that if you're then pulling from that side without being correct form?
Climbing's not a natural thing anyway, is it? So because quite often is I'm sure you've been in the position before where you let's say you're doing a pruning cut over here.
Yeah.
You're being pulled this way.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And that's not a natural thing. That's why people's backs go, because they're being pulled this way. You've got a weight over this way. You're lifting with this way. The rope's pulling you back this way, and it's.
So I guess
it's multiple. No, so that's just to ascend. You take that off.
I was wondering. That's what I was wondering. Is that
goes off
with that aid?
That's just to get you up. Then you take all those devices off, and you're back into where you were.
Yeah, right.
But none of it's natural, really. It's not. I mean, I don't know. Hunter-gatherer, we weren't being pulled this way with this way. We were lifting up things, and
Sometimes I think the back of the harness can sit in your lumbar vertebra, and that can jar.
Yeah.
So I always went with an old, really quite a small, in terms of the material that's on it, a small dragonflies or whatever they were called. The dragonflies
with the harness.
Yeah,
the dragonfly
or whatever they were called, and I was with them for a decade or more.
That's what I learned.
I found them really good. But you're right to mention that. I think it was a little bit of the, when I processed, it's difficult to explain to listeners on with just words. But you'd pull and then hold here strong and slide up your prusik, then come again.
Yeah.
I found being in the harness, I'd be slightly in the position that I am now, slightly diagonal on the seat, but then I'd flip over that side and then do one of those.
To that side and
do one of those, and that was a game changer for me. So I wasn't just
makes sense.
The left tricep and the right bicep.
Well, a lot of people would just stick to what they're strong at, wouldn't they?
They stick to what they're strong at. Yeah. So now I'm.
It's interesting.
I've sort of tried to make it equal on either side,
balancing out.
Yeah.
Crikey. Well, we're getting in through our time, but how sort of to finish off, how are things going at the moment, and how are things looking for the future? Is it positive? Got plenty work on, looking good?
I think so, yeah. At the moment, I think so. If you do long enough in tree surgery, I think you do recognise phases, and I think you have to be sensitive to this. If you're not sensitive to this, I think, you don't want to wish it on anybody, but you tend to go through phases, or I have, where you think you just get a run of jobs and you're thinking, man, I am being put through it. This is going to be tough. Not just in the physicality, in the safety, in the safety realm. I've got a run of jobs on at the minute, and I'm thinking, oh Lord, what have I done? And so it's good, but maybe it's my age. I've begun to think, when are you going to get out of trees? Because if you don't, there'll be trees getting you out of it.
Fall out one of them.
And so I've become hyper conscious of safety. Maybe by age, maybe by the run of jobs that I've got. And you know what the saying is in tree surgery, you don't usually have a catastrophe. It's doing up your laces. To mean it's that little thing that you don't really see that's going to be the thing that gets you. So I've become hyper conscious of that. But generally speaking, if I can get through these few sort of tricky jobs, that'll be good. And
apart from that,
some work on
good.
On the horizon.
Well, if we don't get you back in, we'll know why.
Yeah. How did that go? Yeah, well, I'll go through it. Next week. Yeah.
And on a practical front,
Yes.
how can people get in touch with you? Do they? Because I heard we were saying before, you don't have a mobile.
I don't. Yeah, so I don't. Word of mouth.
Yep.
Do
you have a website or anything like that, or is it mainly?
I haven't looked at a website for 15 years.
Wow.
Crikey.
So I didn't even know.
Yeah.
It's usually word of mouth. Someone says, my friend said you did their trees however long ago.
Yeah.
can you give us a call?
And to give you a call out, it's Penshurst Tree Surgery.
Penshurst Tree Surgery.
Excellent. So if you need any call, if you want someone different from William Gordon, there's Penshurst Tree Surgery.
I wouldn't tread on your toes.
No, I always think there's like
You can't tread on yours, apparently.
there's room in the world for everyone, and
There is.
cooperate, and cooperation is the best way of getting things
Of course.
getting things done.
Yeah, at your service, matey.
But Ivan,
yours.
Yes.
many thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's been delightful having a chat with you.
It's been a real,
That was
real fun.
interesting.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you for that.
I really enjoyed it.
no,
So
thank
thank
you.
you very, very
Ryan's
much
chuffed.
indeed for your
Oh,
time.
absolutely
I don't know why.
chuffed.
Yeah.
Little weirdo.
And I suppose thanks to Ryan for being
See you
here
later.
again.
See you later, team. See you next
Cheers,
time.
Ryan.
Thanks from Billy.
Cheers. Thanks,
Oh,
guys.
the banter between these two. Oh dear, oh dear. And from myself, JB, we'll see you again on our next Outside Crowd podcast.